Ukrainians keep a wary eye on U.S. midterm elections, fearing a loss of support. And I say good. Because I watched something on Reddit. I didn't want to watch it. I was scrolling Reddit all. And within 1 or 2 pages, I came across a video. And I didn't read the caption. I just saw the video. And it was a guy in military gear curled up in the fetal position in a foxhole. And then I'm like, what's this? And then all of a sudden, a grenade just falls from the overhead view. Oh, it was a drone carrying a grenade. The grenade lands in the hole, and then you see it go off, and the body gets shocked. And then this soldier start writhing and crawling and struggling to move like an ant under a magnifying glass. And then the video jumps again. This time, there's 3 people in a foxhole. And then you see a grenade fall right down, land right next to someone's side, and then boom, flash, the bodies jostle. Then you see a man get up, writhing in agony and covered in blood, shaking profusely. And I got really angry, and I really wanted to just throw my phone at the wall. Why did Reddit put that in front of my face? Am I supposed to celebrate that the evil Russian invaders were being blown up in front of me? That when I go to a social media website with no not safe for work tags, that's what you want me to watch? The people who are advocating for the U.S. to be involved in this are psychopaths. I don't like Russia for invading, and I'm not going to cheer for someone being blown up. But this is what we're seeing. So if the midterms mean we cut ties and we end support for a war we shouldn't be involved in at this point, good. I'm sick of this disgusting garbage. These stupid people on the left blindly marching behind war.
Yeah, I just watched They Shall Not Grow Old last night. It's a Peter Jackson documentary, basically, where he took old World War I footage, black and white footage, and colorized it and added sound. And you see these young 18, 17, 16-year-olds that signed up for the war are so excited, the brotherhood being together, working for a common purpose. Yeah, and then they get to you see watch them march to the trench, and then they're in the trenches where people, it's mud, they're falling, they're freezing, their feet are getting frozen off. Then they tell them to go up over the top and charge the machine gun nests. It's the first time they've ever seen machine guns. They don't even know what they are. So they start walking. They're not even running, they're walking, but there's no machine guns. They're like, what's going on? Maybe their Germans aren't ready. The Germans are waiting for them to get into range, and then they open up and they see their friends, the British, they're getting arms blown off, legs getting blown off, dudes getting their heads exploded, and they're laying. They get hit. They keep. They didn't know modern war. They didn't understand modern military technology. Yeah. Now foxholes are no good anymore because drones can drop a grenade in them.
But this is always war. They never underestimate the new tactics and strategies. Sorry, you were going to say.
No, so one of my first job when I was 15 years old, working at a hardware store. There was an old guy that worked there, and come to find out, he was on Iwo Jima, and he never spoke about his war experiences or anything like that. People would ask him stuff, and he'd essentially blow it off, and he'd be gone. And I was 15 years old, so it's been a long time now. And for some reason, just one day, he opened up and he described landing on the beach and running over the parts, and it wasn't bodies, it was body parts of his friends. And it's like he just like clicked, and it was this moment. It was like for a minute or two, he just described it, and he kept talking about the smell. Mm-hmm. And it was just to see someone say that and relive that in his mind. His name was Jack Lockett. It's a true American hero. But to hear that from him, like it's left an impact on me to this day. It's been a long time.
The smell of explosives.
Kept referencing, no.
Well, the smell of decay. Not at first, you don't smell it, but then they start to decay. And then
they were there for quite a few days or weeks. Or
then they start to turn black.
It's not just the smell; it's also an energy. There's also a lot of other things happening when it comes to human beings and the soul leaving the physical body. Scientists haven't been able to explain it, but there's a phenomenon that does happen that is absolutely, indescribable in many instances. But we also have to understand war is hell. This is hell on earth. This is what a lot of people, are in. This is what the mainstream media is cheering for. This is what politicians are financing and funding with your money right now. And it's absolutely egregious, and it's absolutely stupid. I watch, a lot of the footage coming from the Russians, coming from the Ukrainians, to try to get a fair, balanced perspective about what's really going on. in this conflict, and it's predominantly drone warfare. Drones blowing up drones flying with grenades, drones reconning, getting positions, and then having, of course, missiles strike those specific positions where soldiers are at. And very few instances have I seen soldiers to soldiers actually fight each other. It's all done through robots. It's all done through machines. And seeing this new modern warfare, which we were conditioned to through the video games, which also have you flying drones and flying all these carts and sending in airstrikes, is absolutely terrifying because you see the horror, you see the chaos, and it's not up close. It's not face to face like it was in World War I. It's far away, and people are just pressing buttons, killing and eliminating each other.
Imagine that you're 20 years old, and hey, Gen Z, I want you to imagine this, and your government calls you to war. They say, we have no choice. We are at war with a great enemy, and you must go fight. So you resist. And then one day, when you're sneaking out of your friend's basement because you don't want to fight, a couple of cops see you, chase you down, grab you, and you get shipped off to the front line. You're at the front line in Ukraine. Put the helmet on, put on the gear. You have no time for training. This is war. So you're pushed out into the middle of a field and you're hiding in a hole, crying, saying, why am I here? When a grenade lands on you and blows up. That's what's happening to these people. Many of these people fighting for Russia are conscripts. I'm not saying what Russia is doing is good. Obviously, I'm saying it's bad. But to watch videos of these people and then we're supposed to cheer on this psychotic propaganda. How about this? The U.S. should not be involved in this. NATO should not be involved in this. NATO should take care of itself. Ukraine is not a NATO member, not an EU member state. They're trying to be, but only after the war started. And we should say, you know what? We shouldn't be involved in a border dispute with a nuclear armed state. And then we wouldn't have to deal with this psychotic garbage.
Yeah, you know what's...
And again, what we're seeing, that drone footage is just one of dozens of videos that come out every single day. And it's not just the Russians being hit. It's also the Ukrainians being hit. It's also Russians sending in missiles into civilian areas, hitting buildings where people are just trying to live their lives. War hits both ways.
And this is how all war plays out. Every time there's a war, both sides figure something out. Hey, they did this thing. Technology advances, technology advances, tactics advance, and then when the new war breaks out, like Ian was mentioning, they're in the trenches saying charge, and all of a sudden there's machine guns mowing them down.
Because tactics change slower than the technology.
But technology changes. So I actually have a Civil War bullet. It's a Gardner bullet. I think it's 58 caliber. And it's a fascinating, I got it at the Stonewall Museum. And it's got some interesting facts on it. It said that for the most part, muskets were smoothbore. Very inaccurate. Effective only up to about 100 yards. I believe it was 100 yards. Smoothbore, so you'd point it and fire, and it'd go wildly in the wrong direction. At some point, before the Civil War, we get rifled muskets. So now, for those that don't know, rifling, and the reason why they're called rifles is because the inside of the barrel has a small spiral groove. So when the bullet is fired, it spins, dramatically increasing accuracy, tripling or quadrupling the range of your standard musket. When the Civil War broke out, neither side truly understood what that meant and used conventional war tactics like bayonet charges. And then, with a maximized accuracy, we saw one of the bloodiest wars we've ever seen. This is what happens when new war breaks out with technological advancement. Now that we have a massive global population and technology is advancing quite dramatically, it's not going to be nuclear war you should be fearing. It should be the top secret classified weaponry they haven't told you about, which is going to be even more nightmarish.
It'll be hacked drones flown over civilian targets like your family. If that's what what modern warfare Call of Duty doesn't show you is the drone getting hacked and getting flown over Los Angeles.
Yeah, you could hack drones in Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
I played that game. There's also hives, like small little drones that are also developed already that could launch attacks on individuals and have little explosives on them and have bullets on them. The technology that they have right now is absolutely insane, and we don't know much about it.
Oh, bro, listen. A small drone, probably about this big, can carry a shotgun shell, a 12 gauge or whatever, and it can be with a what is it called, Luca? Flashette?
Flechette.
Flechette? Is that what it's called?
That's how I pronounce it.
Not a slug. Spread razor blades.
Oh,
sharp piece of metal.
I think those are flechettes.
Flechette, And so that little tiny drone can fly up to you and go, what's that? And then it bang and sprays metal shards all over the place, blinding and scarring people.
Yeah, maiming.
It's just insane, the level of technology. It's not going to be fun.
No.
But I'll tell you, man, one thing they don't show you in Call of Duty is the 20-year-old crying because he was conscripted by his government to fight in a war and he doesn't want to be there. And then...
Well, then his officer is like, if you turn around, I'm going to shoot you. Go over the edge
march.
now.
Yep.
Literally. And they also don't show you your friends getting wounded and screaming in pain for 20 minutes or for 4 hours waiting because you can't get to them.
There's going to be a handful of Gen Zers because they lean very heavily Democrat. There's going to be two. Let me tell you a story of two Gen Z. Let's say they're 22 years old. One's a staunch Democrat who loves watching H3 and agrees with Ethan Klein about Ben Shapiro and all that other nonsense, watches Hassan Piker. And so he's like, you know what? We got to stop Russia. We got to stop them. So they say, I'm going to vote Democrat. Not like the Republicans are that much better, but at the very least with Trump, he opposes this stuff. Well, that person has a friend. The friend doesn't know, doesn't care, and doesn't pay attention. But lo and behold, the war escalates, NATO gets involved, and the U.S. says we have not been able to replenish our forces to a degree where we could actually fight and win. So we're going to reenact the draft. These 22-year-olds, let's say it's in a few years, so they're 18 today, they both find themselves on the front lines. And one is saying, why is the one friend B, who never paid attention to the news, doesn't care, is saying, I wish I paid attention and could have done something about this. And the other friend says, well, actually, I kind of voted for it. And then the bomb goes off and they both explode.
You know, I was thinking, where are our strong men sociologically in the world right now? What happened? Why are people so latching on to Donald Trump and Jordan Peterson? Why do they need a father figure? You know why?
Put attack in that. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.